Here is my path of continual growth, that
Right.
I will never arrive. And you kind of have to have that core belief that I will never arrive, that I am never to a point of completion and I'm done. It is this what's next?
Right.
What's possible? Hey everybody, welcome to the Leader Lab. This is Leadership Shorts, quick thoughts to help you level up your leadership. My name is Chad Wright. I am the founder of Forward Partners, and I am joined, as always, by my partner in podcasting, Emily Grace Deal. Emily, what are we talking about today?
We have a quote today.
All right, let's dig in.
If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, and do more and become more, you are a leader.
I think it's interesting that says more so often.
Yes.
But it's because we talk all the time about how more is not always the answer. More is often not the answer and causes so many problems. But this is about becoming more. And this is ultimately about inspiring our people to say better is possible.
Right.
It's so interesting how often we'll go into organizations and they've got these employees that are just stuck, right? They show up every day, they do a so-so job, they check a few tasks, but ultimately these are not their superstar employees. And you look at the leader of that employee, that leader is often not inspiring them and driving them and saying, hey, could we do better? Can we do more in a healthy way, in a growth-focused way?
Yeah, I think that it's just asking the questions, right?
Yes.
It's asking the questions and being like, what's possible?
Yeah.
And then that's kind of what is inspiring. It like helps you think bigger instead of just thinking of routine and day to day and getting it done.
Because you get trapped in that routine, right? And I think in being trapped in it, your potential also kind of becomes trapped.
Right.
And it stops growing. And so what we find is ultimately, if you've got a stuck employee, you've probably got a relatively stuck leader. And that's not every single time. I've known some great leaders that have had stuck employees. But a lot of the time, if that leader is introspective and self-aware and can go, man, am I growing? Am I pushing for better for me? And so really creating that constant focus on that growth path, on investing in ourselves and saying, can my skills get better?
And I think it's that, like, have you invested in yourself enough that you're now able to invest in others?
Yeah.
And so I think that's that, like, level of health that, like, great leaders can get to, where they're like, okay, so I've done the work to help. And it's not like you do it and you're done. Check, I am now a great leader. Like,
that's kind of why it's a growth path, right?
Right.
Here's my path of continual growth, that
Right.
I will never arrive. And you kind of have to have that core belief that I will never arrive, that I am never to a point of completion and I'm done. It is this what's next?
Right.
What's possible? But in an inner growth focused way. And what it begins to do, if we can start to do that as leaders, is it starts to inspire our people to do the same. And we kind of go through this as a company where we have our growth plan for the year, right? And I've noticed as we've started to share those and not just kind of keep them to ourselves, that it's inspiring, right?
you're putting words to it and you're like helping the
Yes.
other person by, working together is always that way, right?
Yes.
When you have somebody a partner to work with and do things with and hold you accountable.
Yeah,
And
it is. And there's a bit of vulnerability for a leader to say, here's my plan to grow for the year. I'm not done. I've got more. To see a leader do that acknowledges that they're not there. And that's okay. We don't need to be, again, we go back to that person holding the boulder up. That's about perfection. That's about strength. That's about our idea of strength. But ultimately, that is not a person that's growing. It's a person that's surviving.
Right.
And so part of why people get stuck is they kind of get in survival mode. And if we can kind of show them a better path, show them that better is possible and inspire them, that's what becomes exciting. I think this, a good example of this just in a different way is this studio itself with John Vineyard over here with Porchlight Productions. One of the things he does is when people come in, they look at the quality of the production and go, oh my gosh, that could be me. My business could look and sound like this. People get excited.
Yeah.
In my previous business in marketing, we would open up that folder and there's all these beautifully done, full color, high quality
Possibilities.
things. They would look at that possibility and go, I could look like this.
Yes.
And they would get excited about it. And I think the same is true from human growth perspective, right? To say, this is possible. We have to just remain curious and what's next and keep excited about
Well,
that.
and we all have different strengths like we talk about.
Yeah.
And so if someone's strength is being able to see that future possibility and
Yeah.
being able to see what you can do, like if you you might not be able to see it for yourself, but if somebody else can, that might help.
Yes.
And show you a path and show you what's possible.
That's a good point, because when you have people that are stuck, often there is no one around them that believes in them. There's nobody that believes better is possible. And so as a leader, knowing, again, our words have weight. If we have earned influence with our people, they have this huge, huge weight with them. And so ultimately we can inspire them and go, hey, I believe better is possible for you. I know it's possible for me, and if it's possible for me, it's possible for anybody.
Yes.
And so I think there's understanding that possibility and not letting complacency sit in, because I think whenever complacency sits in, there's kind of this atrophy that happens. This just, I'm where I need to be. And because most people get so focused on that next step, right? That next promotion. Well, I'm where I need to be for where I'm at, so it's okay. Versus what's possible, what's next, what's better.
Right.
And so I think there's something really special there for us as leaders. So
not settling and accepting that you're just here.
Yeah, that we constantly have better possible for us.
Yeah.
Leaders, let's talk about kind of some next steps with this. I want you to think about your own growth. You know, we're beginning a year. I guess by the time you watch this, we're probably going to be a few months into the year, but it is never a bad time to stop and say, what's next for me in terms of growth? Is better possible for me? What areas do I want to improve? What new skills do I want to add? What new way of thinking do I want to develop? Create a plan for that. Write it out. Then take that plan and share that with your team. Say, hey, here's how I want to grow, and kind of show them the format. A lot of people don't know how to think about possibility. Show them the format about how to structure a growth plan, and then say, hey, why don't you build one out too? Or I'll collaborate with you on it. We'll work on it together to make sure that everybody understands that better is possible. You have that ability to unlock that. All right, I love thinking about possibility and what's next. If people want to reach out to us with questions or leadership issues, where do they send that to?
lab@forwardpartners.net.
lab@forwardpartners.net. If they want to find us online, where we are putting out everything we can on social, where do they find us?
@ForwardPartner.
@ForwardPartner. We're on Facebook, Instagram, a lot of content on LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, really hit us up there. All right. I'm excited to continue these conversations as we go forward. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for having this conversation. John, thank you for partnering with us on this production. And thank you for watching. We will see you next time right here in the Leader Lab for Leadership Shorts.